Really hard work. It's taxing, but we did it, and I'm Yeah, I'd love to. What is your sense of like the Warcraft community and their thoughts on the film? And you have like, do you have misconceptions about it?
Absolutely justified. I think the fans of Warcraft more than any other game universe are absolutely justified in feeling an ownership for something that they've spent so much of their time. I don't think, whether it's Assassin's Creed or Angry Birds or, even Halo, I don't think people have spent as much time in as long-term a way as they have in the Warcraft universe. I think people who play World of Warcraft, their marriages have been made and broken for the amount of time that people have played that game. So I think there is a real sense of ownership that I think has been earned, and I respect that because I understand where it comes from.
Do you feel like they're skeptical about some things, or there's something you want to drive home just to make it clear that this movie is not going to be this way that the marketing might have hinted that it's going to be, or anything like that?
I don't know. I think the fan base they just want to see the movie now. I think they've waited such a long time. The movie, they knew about a movie being made for such a long time, and it just took such a long time to happen that I think there was a real skepticism that it ever would. Even the first couple of years of us, we went through this film 3 times, and I think the first 2 times they were like, yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll see it when it comes out, if it ever comes out. So I think there was a real skepticism from that audience, and again, it's justified. Vaporware is a real thing. I know that they're concerned. I know that they were concerned, but we made a film. We're proud of it, and I just desperately wanted to get out there and people to make up their minds.
Yeah, when Blizzard first got out of the gate, their announcement, I remember just them just saying, we're going to make a really good movie. No matter what, we're making a good movie. But then learning about that veto power that they had, and thinking about, like, they are such perfectionists. When they cancel Warcraft Adventures, StarCraft Ghosts, they have a history of just canceling things that aren't up to the quality bar that they want to set. So it's amazing you guys got it through production.
And like I said, it's been an exhausting process, and I think I'm a better politician and negotiator than I would have been had I not done it. I learned an awful lot of skills. I'll be running for the Senate, I'm sure, after this. You really have to, as long as you always respect and appreciate why it means so much to people that it does mean something to. I think that helps keep you sane, and also helps, calibrate your emotional state about something. I may think something is absolutely the way to do it, and somebody else may think it's absolutely not the way to do it. But I know that I need to take the time to explain why I'm right for the movie, that it's the right reason to do something. Because there is, like I said, there's so many years of lore. It's a huge business, and there's a massive fan base that really cares about things being done right.
Yeah. So what are your plans for the premiere? Are you going to get together with the development team to send this baby out?
My plans for the premiere is my wife and June to have our first baby in June. Oh wow! The film comes out, so I'm hoping if we can get the timing right, we can do like a Horde Alliance choice for our child baby.
Good guy. Are you going to bring your guild to the premiere?
That's not actually going to happen.
Are you going to have your guild at the premiere?
I don't know. How many sort of real world meetups have you done with your guild?
I've done one and it went okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, no,
I think mine is a little crazier than you.
my life is just over something. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, but hey, and thank you so much for joining us, man. Like, I feel like you've got this gigantic blockbuster under your belt now. You've really proven to Hollywood, the rest of the world, that you can make anything at this point, right?
I don't know. I guess the one thing I'm hoping is I would love this to be the film that proves that you can make really solid movies based on video games, because there is absolutely no reason why it can't be done.
Yeah, here. We would absolutely love to see it. Well, best of luck with the launch. We look forward to seeing the movie and hearing the feedback and seeing this whole saga unfold. So thanks again for your time.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Duncan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, that was great. Are you feeling more confident? Yeah, I am. Man. You don't have to say, you're not point.
I know, but I mean, he said all the right things. I mean, he pressed the right buttons.
Really did.
Yes.
All right, but thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Game Informer Show. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll have a new episode waiting for you. Bye, everybody. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Game Informer Show. I'm your host, Ben Hansen, joined by Kyle Hilliard.
Hey, I'm here.
We got Jeff Markiafaba.
Hey.
Jeff, as we usually call him. And then one Matt Miller. Do you not want to be here, Miller?
I think it's safe to say that the thing that we're here to talk about, I'm not as excited about as some of the games that we've covered.
Miller's here to talk about Uncharted 4, and he has some scathing opinions.
It's a lie. I love Uncharted 4. Another game that's released recently.
Yes.
The one I'm not super enthusiastic
So
about.
here's what we have on this show. We're going to talk a little bit about Battleborn, bring back the old favorite Battleborn versus Overwatch debate, which is very popular
Yeah,
on this
Tech's not
podcast.
here, so we can say whatever we want.
Oh, it's going to be so satisfying.
Exactly the same game.
That's right. We're going to talk a little bit about Odds and Ends, the new Pokemon game, which has got a trailer, and some other mysterious Game Freak developed games that Kyle's been playing. Uncharted 4 a little bit. The big news about Disney getting out of game publishing, internally at least. Yeah, it's been weird. It's very surprising. We'll get into all that and a couple other games here and there. But then at the end of the show, we have an interview that I recorded in early February and I've been sitting on it. It is with the directors of the Angry Birds movie. Wow. Which is 2 film interviews in a row. So I apologize if you're not interested in, film adaptations of games. It's just a weird coincidence that they're back to back here. But it's a good chat. So the directors, the co-directors, they have a crazy pedigree. Like one of them was a storyboard artist that worked on like Spider-Man 2 and Iron Giant, and the other, that guy's name is Fergal Riley, by the way. The other's name is Clay Cadis, and he was at Disney from Pocahontas as an animator all the way up to Wreck-It Ralph. He was a very high up animator, like on Frozen, just crazy Disney pedigree, and so he also hosted the Animation Podcast, which is like long-form interviews with animators, which is absolutely amazing. So we have him on the show. I rave about his podcast for about 60% of that interview, but I recommend you check it out. It's an interesting angle, just talking about how you turn the concept of Angry Birds into a movie, and the fact that Rovio, the game company, has poured so much money into this thing. It is the largest Finnish film production ever, and it's the Angry Birds movie. That comes out next week, I think. Right?
It's not this week, but I think it's next week.
I think it's easy for us to forget how huge Angry Birds is, just as a media property.
was.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this might help determine the answer to that question,
Yeah, that's
right?
a good point.
It maybe hasn't been as big, but if they've somehow managed to break that barrier that so few people have been able to make a kid-targeted game movie work out of that grew up out of like video games.
You mean more successful than the Ratchet & Clank?
More successful even than that,
Which Kyle saw in theaters.
and you really love. Yeah.
We've talked about it enough on this podcast. But hey, reviews are coming in for Angry Birds movie, and people seem to be saying this is better than I thought it was going to be, and that's actually pretty funny. Cool. So I'm curious to see what the big reaction is when it actually is released. But we should talk about games.
Okay.
So releasing this week, we're not really going to talk about it, but Stellaris came out on Steam. It's a 4X game from Paradox. It seems like it's taking that 4X community by storm. People are
Can you
absolutely
name
in love
the
with
4Xs right now?
Yes, I can. We got Mega Man. Let's see.
Come in.
There's XXX and then Xseed. No, okay, we got Expand, Explore, Expose, and Sponge. X State of the Union. I don't know. But anyway,
We did it.
there are 4 of them. Yeah, so people are really in love with Stiller, so if you're looking for a new 4X game, maybe check that out. But next week we're going to have Reeves on to talk all about it, because it's tough after a day to cover a 4X game. Also, Civilization 6 was announced yesterday. But we don't need to cover that, because we don't know much about it. But we should talk about something that we do know a lot about. Specifically, we've been holding you back, Miller. You've been incubating your thoughts on this game called Battleborn from Gearbox.
Yeah.
You are the winter soldier that's been awakened, and now you're going to tell us all about Gearbox's Battleborn with the most informed opinion you can possibly muster.
All right. Well, you may have noticed that we haven't posted our review yet for Battleborn.
That's true. What's going on with that?
Well, one of the things that I will say for Battleborn is that it is a very big and very complex game. There's a lot going on there, a lot of characters.
Big. That's interesting.
It is.
People were kind of shocked because when they're going in expecting something more than Borderlands format, and then they see this. Where is that content? Where is it
I
hiding?
think a lot of that content is like the learning curve of learning the different characters and how they play, how to interact with the different modes. I think there is a lot of content there. And before I dive into too much of
You can
calling out the things that I don't like about this game, of which there are a multitude, I will say that for somebody who likes the concept of Battleborn and likes the visual style of it, there's a lot to dig into here. And the characters themselves are kind of fun. Totally. Like, they're distinct one from another. Learning their different power sets is interesting. And that's my favorite thing about the game.
Great. Okay, moving on to Overwatch then.
But there's a big follow-up on that. There's a big but. I think almost all the aspects of like the gameplay structure and like whether you're talking about the moment-to-moment gameplay, the broader decisions about how they've structured their campaign, just don't work for me.
For you personally, or you think in general?
Well, I can't speak for anybody else. I know that there's people out there who are liking Battleborn, and we've talked before on this podcast about the idea that, like, if you like a game and we don't like it, way to go, man. Like, we love it when people like games. People sometimes grade us in after we have a negative review on a game, and ultimately, like, everybody's had a game they don't like, right? And sometimes it's a game that other people do, and that's all, like, all that I and anybody else in the game offer is hopefully what is a moderately educated opinion about a game based on spending a lot of time with it and really exploring it as fully as we can.
On that note, Battleborn, I think it's sitting at very positive for the Steam reviews. However much credit you give to that. So there is a passionate community of people that are, hey, thumbs up.
There absolutely is, and so I'm not trying to dismiss those people. I'm not telling them they're wrong. I'm just saying this game doesn't work for me for various reasons. The campaign has these like 8 missions that you go through, and they're all quite lengthy. They don't have any checkpoints, and they're mostly built around defend objectives and escort objectives. Two things that I think we would all agree have not traditionally been high points in objective-based gameplay. And yet here, it's the main focus of the storytelling campaign. Most of the missions are some variety of defend this spot or escort these things to this place. And if you fail any one of those objectives, which you will, I think, frequently, it's not like you go back to a checkpoint. The mission ends, and you go back and you have to start the mission over. This seems mindful. So you can get like an hour into a lengthy mission. They're that big, yes. And you then fail on like the last big defend objective of that mission. It's back to the drawing board.
That's mind-boggling.
It seems weird to me as well. I also haven't found any way to do like drop-in stage missions. So like kind of, and I'm still looking into it. Like I said, I haven't posted my review yet, but there doesn't appear to be a way for me to bring people in partway through a mission. So once I'm in there, like for one, I can't quit out. If I like want to go eat dinner or something like that, and I'm playing with friends, there's no option, no checkpoints that are going to save me partway along the way and let me come back. I either do the mission or I don't. That's really said, I mean, they try to have these kind of pretty challenging objectives that you're going through, that you really have to focus and like make good decisions about what defenses and turrets you set up to block the enemy attackers. And there's the potential for that to be interesting, except the gameplay itself isn't very good. Like the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, the shooting is just not up to the standards that we've come to expect in other shooting games in the last couple of years. Doesn't have the precision, doesn't have the interesting gunplay, the variety in the feeling of the weapons. Everything feels kind of loose. That's when you're doing range stuff. And the melee stuff is a disaster. I mean, it's just not good. I play a lot of these melee characters, and I just don't understand what's going on the screen because it's so raucously busy visually that I feel like all I'm doing is sort of running up to enemies and holding down the melee attack button and standing there for a certain amount of time. Maybe I'm moving back and forth a little bit to dodge their attacks. But, I mean, to be fair, first-person melee has always been a challenging thing to implement well. But I don't know that that's an excuse. So, right?
Wrath, remember the sword guy. Are there a lot of melee characters?
Yeah, there's a lot of melee characters, and they just none of them really work for me. Some of them are powerful. Some of them are like in the balance game are characters that you might choose. I just don't think that they're engaging to play with, even if they do a lot of damage or whatever.
I want to focus on you talking about the feel of the game, because I feel like that's been a criticism that's been kind of boiling up amongst the community playing this, is it feels kind of light and hollow and not impactful and not enough weight. Is that the takeaway?
That's certainly the experience that I've had with it. There's this feeling like when you attack enemies, there's not a other than seeing their health bar tick down, there's not the sense that you're actually damaging them.
You got numbers flying out, right?
You do. You have numbers flying out, but there's some very hard to define quality that you have in good shooters and good first-person games that give you a sense to the connection, the sort of like visceral sense of being involved in. I'm doing damage to this thing. I'm having damage done to me. That in this game just doesn't feel like it's there.
Do you think it's sound design?
Well, I also don't love the sound design in this
Okay,
game.
but you think that's disconnected?
I think it's sound and animation.
I do.
Okay.
I think it's the way all of these things fit together. I mean, the last couple of weeks, I know this week we're going to talk a little bit about it, and last week you guys talked about Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like, that's a game that has integrated all its systems in a way that serves the narrative and does something really interesting. This is almost the opposite of that in my mind. Like Battleborn, the various systems just don't seem connected to one another and in service of anything in particular. And so the sound design, first of all, the dialogue is not funny. It does not work for me.
I like that Miller is like at the end of last year. You also reviewed Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think you're on this podcast talking about that is not funny. I like the idea of like you constantly reviewing the games that are really trying for jokes that just don't land. It's a specialty. Yeah.
I think there's lots of video games that are really funny.
Name one. Name the funniest video game ever made, Miller.
Oh God,
Go on the spot.
I don't know what is the funniest video game ever made.
It begins with a P.
Miller. What?
It's Jackbox Party Pack.
Jackbox Party Pack is a really funny game.
No, it's Portal.
Portal's a really funny game. I think Borderlands can be a really funny game, although it's not the funniest game of all time. I think Gearbox's previous work on Borderlands manages somehow to nail that mix of, like, it is sort of juvenile and silly, and yet it works. Like, there's something about it that, like, hits home.
I think it clearly has found an audience. I mean, I think if you go back, I don't want to have two rose-colored glasses here, but you go back and you play Borderlands 2, which I think is a step up right by Borderlands 1. I mean, there's a lot of duds in there too.
There are
I'm a hater here,
But I think that's part of it is that, Battleborn is such a distilled, they're like trying to pack so much into these, 8 missions that's just like constantly in your face. Whereas with Borderlands, it's a game that you play for 60 hours and if, a bunch of jokes don't land, you just kind of forget them and remember.
But some of them do, like the robot stuff in Borderlands, like with Claptrap or whatever, totally like works. It's funny, even though it's cool.
Idiots, but
well, even like on that point, if I was talking about the structure of Borderlands, I think it might work better comedically as well, just because you're running around this kind of town or this hub area and you're interacting with those characters, whereas everything that I've played from Battlefield is just an obnoxious radio play over the top of these missions. Is that...
I think that's fair. There's the dilemma the things that I said I liked about the game is that it has a lot of characters. Also hurts it because they're forced to try to somehow justify each one of those different characters as they go through. So there's very little in the way of like main characters, and there's this slowly expanding roster of a couple dozen characters that they're each of which they're trying to like. Oh, you like this guy because he's the funny old guy, but he's also kind of evil, and like that's about it. Like, what else do I know about this guy? I don't know. Like the characters don't have enough space to grow into their own like fully fleshed out versions, whether they're funny or not.
And also they repeat the jokes just constantly.
Yes.
Like even I played with you for a couple hours, and like in like the first 20 minutes, my character is repeating like the same jokes again and again. It doesn't matter how funny a joke is if you keep on telling it that often. It just becomes grating.
I can hear the audience out there, a certain segment, saying, you're comparing this game to Uncharted 4, you're talking about how the story and the characters don't work out. I'm looking for a fun game for multiplayer. Is the, PvP stuff, is that where the heart is?
I think the PvP stuff is better than the PvE stuff.
Okay.
They've used a structure that is a pre-existing structure in a lot of ways by basing it on MOBAs. And whether you like MOBAs or not, there is something that is appealing about that structure. The reason so many millions of people play these things,
wrong,
right? Like it's because there's the conceit works of having these different lanes that you're moving down, and you're like leveling up your character in one brief span of time all the way through this like track of a leveling tree. Like this having different characters which each have very distinct abilities, and you're kind of trying to see how they balance one against another. All of that stuff is a game design concept that has been proven to work, and to a certain degree it does work here. But for me, when the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, which carries over between the campaign stuff and the multiplayer, when that's just not good, well, what else? What am I supposed to be really excited about here? Even if you've cribbed a really smart structure of borrowing from MOBAs to do some interesting stuff with your PvP, if the melee always feels like I'm running up to some guy and I can't really see what's happening on screen, I'm just kind of holding down a button, or the shooting feels really loose and doesn't feel connected to the enemies that I'm targeting, whether they're real people on the other side or AI, at some point it's just not engaging. It's not a fun experience.
That's I think what I'm trying to figure out with the reaction towards Battleborn is just trying to get a read on how much of it you think is poor design or just not pieced together as well as you would want, versus like they made a solid thing that's a little bit strange, but it's solid, but ultimately it's just not fun to play. Does that make sense as reviewers? I don't review games. Is that a weird distinction to make?
At the end of the day, when I'm playing a game for review, I'm thinking like, am I engaged with what I'm doing? Is this fun? Is this like an enjoyable experience? So I want to keep playing. I don't get those sensations when I'm playing Battleborn, and when it comes right down to it, any other sort of sophistry aside about review philosophy and all that kind of stuff, that's really important, right? My opinion of this game is formed by like what's my experience when I'm playing this game, and when the sound design doesn't work, the animation feels choppy to me, the art design is interesting but ultimately results in experiences that are really visually hard to like understand, digest. Do you know what I mean, Jeff? Like there's something about like just all of those colors and flashes and the sort of animation style that they've done that just makes it hard to interpret what's happening.
Really, just
Yes.
Like nothing seems to quite line up, which I guess maybe you could say that that's what they're going for with different planets.
yeah, they're all aliens, but they're in the same spot.
It's not aesthetically pleasing.
I do not find it aesthetically pleasing. I don't find the characters funny. I don't think the story's good. I don't like the structure of the campaign and having to replay missions because it's been balanced in such a way that like some objectives are super easy and I just breeze right through, and then I get to this one thing that whether I'm playing in public matches or not, or I'm playing with friends, just like we always fail it. So we have to redo an hour of play that wasn't challenging just to get to that point.
That completely killed my enthusiasm for any of the co-ops PvE stuff. time that we were dying all the time. It's like, hold this place for 15 minutes, and then, these grenade lobbing characters come in somewhere, amidst all the chaos that's going on, and before you know it, they bring down the thing that you're trying to defend, and you're standing right in front of the thing, defending it, and you're burning through all your abilities. You have all the turrets that you can build up all around you, and it's still, being destroyed right in front of your eyes, and you can't really do anything about it.
And I think even then, there's an argument to be made for the idea that, like, okay, well, a lot of games have challenging objectives, and that's what makes them fun. But I would challenge the assertion that it's fun to have that happen an hour into a mission that was otherwise totally straightforward and kind of boring, and then get to this one space that for some reason has been balanced to be 10 times harder than everything else in the mission, and then have that moment be the time that you're, okay, well, last time we tried to set up these turrets here, and we had 2 guys holding at the defense zone and 2 other guys roaming around. Well, that didn't work. All right, well, we failed, so it kicked us back to the beginning of the mission. We have to get all the way back to that point. By the way, just for your reference, if you play publicly, you can't choose which story missions you play. You select a playlist for all story missions, and it matches you in, and you get to express a preference between 3 different missions.
Voting for a map type of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can't even choose last time I did this public match, we failed. There's no retry with your group. It breaks up the public group, and you have to go back in, and maybe you get a chance to play that mission again, and maybe you don't. It's just like, why would you do that? I just don't. There's so many design decisions here that I don't understand.
Yeah.
And the solution to the one mission that me and Miller and I think it was Birds or someone else who was playing with us, the solution was that Miller just had to pick a different character, who had larger area of effect attacks.
Okay.
And so we banged our head against it, trying to figure out, what we could do tactically, playing together as a team. And the answer was, well, we just needed a different character to who had better area of attack.
Okay. Isn't that part of the charm of the game, though, is learning the characters and trying to strategize different environments, what would work better?
I do think that the great deal of the charm of the game is learning the different characters. And as I said at the beginning, that's the best part of this game in my mind.
Penguins in a mech suit, cool.
Yeah, I think they're cute. They're not always funny, which is a problem because they're going for funny with all of them, and a lot of them are actively non-funny, and so I don't want to play them because I literally don't want to hear their quips again and again and again.
I remember some of those scripts being funny on the cover story trip. I remember the one that stands out is somebody was yelling at Thor, and it was kind of the elf lady with the bow, and one of the quips was that she smells like camping. It's not a bad little joke. Look, it's not a lot about that, but it's like, all right, that's kind of a cute little. Maybe insult. Well, now that joke was funny when you guys were, but now you guys have heard it dozens of times over the course of being
I've not
frustrated
heard that particular joke, but yes, there are many jokes in that vein that you hear repeatedly, that you hear your guys shout out again and again, the same thing.
Right.
So anyway, to get back to it, I do think that the meat of the game for many people will be the PvP experience. I think if you find a character that you really like that you can engage with, there's some interesting sort of progression concepts behind okay, I'm going to play this character, I'm going to get some more skins, I'm going to get some more mutations for how they level up over time. That can be kind of fun. But a lot of the core gameplay experience falls flat for me, and when it comes right down to it, if that's true, I can't recommend it. I mean, what do you want, right?
So Jeff, I'm in a hypothetical scenario where you had a group of dearest best friends going back 7 years or more, and they all reached out to you and said, we're really excited about Battleborn, let's play Battleborn co-op. Would you play it with them? Is there any universe where you'd play this game in the future? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, sure, in that scenario, I'd probably tell them there are better co-op games that we can play together, but, I think it speaks to the feeling of in the office of how this game is, that Miller really had to twist arms to get people to play with him all week long, and usually, I mean, and again, not to say that Overwatch and Battleborn are the same game, but I think most of us last weekend or whatever, we went home and we couldn't wait to play more Overwatch.
Right. We're not going to get a better segue than that. Battleborn might be for some, Miller says thumbs down. That's true. That's a good takeaway. Okay, let's get to Overwatch. Which, by the way, the comparison we had weeks ago on the podcast, holy lord, do people hate that comparison. I should have made it more clear. I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate to get a reaction and an explanation out of Dan Tech. I do not think that these are literally the exact same game.
Yeah.
I do think they're closer than Dan Tech would care to admit, and then clearly the reaction towards both of them, everybody's lumping them together. People see hero shooters, and on a extremely surface level, they say those are the same games.
I mean, Division and Destiny are not the same games, but you certainly have to recognize that they have some shared heritage.
And I rejected Dan Tech's notion of there's no relation, they're completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. Okay, they're different. Anyways, Jeffem, Overwatch, it seems like of all the people that got their hands on with Overwatch, the latest round of the open beta, especially because it was on consoles, you might have been the most enthusiastic of the new wave coming in.
I guess so.
You're like the coolest and best, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we say that a lot in the office.
Absolutely. So what attracted you to this game? And what was your experience with Overwatch before the latest round of open beta?
This was the first time I actually played it. I think I sat on a test chamber with Dan at some point.
You just looked at your phone most of the time.
Yeah, we really phone it into those living rooms or whatever.
Do you remember Battlefield?
It's weird to kind of be the ambassador for this game when everyone in the office has been playing it and having a fun time. But this was definitely, I heard lots of good things about it. You know, I hadn't really followed the news about it, but when they say, hey, try it for the weekend for free, you know, I jumped in and I was very impressed with my experience with it.
I think there's a lot of people that are in your camp where maybe they're more console focused than PC, and they hear some good PC buzz, but I mean, PC specific games, they don't exactly do gangbusters on our site traffic wise. So it's like there's plenty of people that I think with this opening, they finally get their hands on. Yeah, I guess there's good things tangentially to the PC crowd. What is this all about? Am I going to get into this? So I'm curious though, what struck you specifically?
A lot of the core gameplay mechanics that we were just kind of complaining about are just, I mean, and I guess you should expect it from Blizzard, you know, but they just kind of, how they figured out, I think this is the smoothest playing first-person shooter on a console that I've had. It's
That's praise.
first
It is
time
crazy.
where like I've never thought twice about, you know, controlling it and how smooth it is and how easy it is to aim at people in the console space for a shooter. And the nice thing about it is it lets you just focus on, you know, the 4 different abilities that every single character has.
It's so simple. I think that's the real charm behind
You don't have
Overwatch.
to adjust to not pulling the left trigger. And not
That's the thing. I think a lot of people are like they go into it, they say, "Oh my god, no iron sights, no
Yeah.
sprinting unless you're playing."
It was an adjustment. It wasn't like a knock against the game, but I did have like maybe a match or two where I was like, oh wait, I don't need to pull the trigger.
And then that was the first thing that I noticed, that, you know, there's no iron sights. God, what the hell kind of game doesn't have iron sights nowadays? And you're right, after like the first match, it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's no problem whatsoever. You can aim at someone way across the map, and you don't do the thing where you kind of go back and forth trying to figure it out. And it just, every character felt good.
Yeah. Miller, what have you played so far?
Well, I think Blizzard, what you're describing in the microcosm that is Overwatch is what is Blizzard as a developer in its entire catalog.
Yeah,
what they do,
absolutely.
they take existing ideas, in this case like competitive first-person shooting, but they've done it with RTS, they've done it with MMOs, they've done it with collectible card games, they've done it with action RPGs.
Those
like
lost Greek soldiers, they capitalized on that idea and made Lost Vikings really perfected the formula.
I think at any point in the last decade plus, you could say that Blizzard's specialty hasn't been on like fundamental innovation of new ideas. It's taking existing ideas and making them really good and really accessible, really simple, but with depth, right? Like that's the big challenge, right, with game development, is to make something that you can have a new player come in. I mean, the tutorial for Overwatch is really simple. It's funny how like it's a level of you've never seen a first-person shooter before, right? Like, this is how you move. You need to pull the trigger to shoot at these things and stuff like that, right?
It just feels like
and so it's well realize that what they're doing there is they're inviting everybody to the table.
Absolutely.
Right? And they're doing it in such a way that gets everybody on board, whether they've been playing first-person shooters for 20 years, or they've never done it before, and then it drops them into a game experience that at first glance and first experience is totally accessible.
They're just such masters at understanding game design and just seeing. They have like, I don't know, Superman vision, X-ray vision, where they can just look at this genre and focus in on what are the key ingredients. How can we trim everything else away and boil down on that? There's actually a great talk about designing the tutorial for Hearthstone that the lead designer gave. It was submitted GDC, but it's available publicly. And in that, they even talked about how important the tutorial was from Plants vs. Zombies for inspiration. Like, the masters of, like, simple tutorials and getting you in. And Overwatch feels, as strange as it is, like, in that vein of simplicity.
So that was my. I haven't played as much, I think, as Jeff has with Overwatch, but that was the big takeaway for me, is that I found I could go in and they have this broad selection of really interesting characters with interesting powers, fun art designs to them. Any one of them I could pick up, and within a matter of 2 minutes, I knew what I was doing with that character. I got the sort of archetype they were shooting for with them, and I was off to the races to like have a fun match. And that is very, very hard to do. To have it be that simple and invisible, and have you just sort of fall into it, to make it like that, is what's hard about game design.
And I've heard some friends jump into Overwatch and they're kind of overwhelmed by the amount of characters, and I think that's a common reaction. Okay, but just seeing that video, just being like, I can't learn this. This is getting overwhelmed with characters, but it really does not take long to just cycle through those characters and then understand everybody's range of abilities. Maybe some supers and ultimates you won't quite understand, but I'm curious what characters you gravitated
and along those lines, one of the first things I did was jump in the weekly brawl thing, which is that we're going to give you a totally random character. Every time you die, you come back. And I did that for like 2 matches or whatever, and I spent a lot of time looking at you guys. Like, all right, this is stupid. Like, I should be jumping in totally random characters. But by the end of the weekend, you know, like, I knew every single one of those characters, and it was super easy to just remember, like, oh yeah, okay, this is fair, you know, like, I
drawing
remember
sketches of them, putting them up on your wall.
And the other thing I want to say about character design is, you know, it didn't take me long to gravitate towards a couple characters, you know, like Soldier 76 and Bash, everyone hates, you know, those kind of things. And after a while, I consciously forced myself to stop picking the ones that I wanted to and pick the ones that I thought were lame. And it turned out, like, I loved them just as much, and I ended up with a couple of, like, new total favorites. You know, Junkrat was one of them where it's like, this guy looks stupid. And then I started playing with them, and it's like, oh, okay, like, all these abilities are awesome. They all work together so well. If you're playing defense, like, this is a perfect character for it.
And then Zarya was another one that you gravitated towards?
Yeah, and that was another one that I was like, oh, I can give myself a shield, and I can give another person a shield, and then, you know, you play a couple times, and you just have a totally killer match, and you figure out how to use all those abilities throughout it. Oh, this character is totally awesome.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think my top 3, Junkrat, it's a weird comparison. I was talking to you guys earlier about it, but he reminds me so much of what I love about playing as Snake in Smash Brothers Brawl. Because literally, like, Junkrat's 2 moves is there's, like, a landmine that you can detonate, and then just a trap that people get caught in automatically, which is, like, the exact same moveset as Snake from Brawl, where you just lay a trap, keep your eye kind of on it, but you can still engage in other action, and then detonate it, or just watch something get ensnared in it. And it's so much fun to have kind of play that long.
To kind of pause you for a second on your list, like, I think Smash Brothers is actually not a bad comparison, because it's like a number of disparate, very recognizable characters who are all have a distinct look about them, but they all have like a limited set of moves that all kind of function similarly.
Right,
You know?
Yeah.
That's so it's easy to jump around, you know? Like, it's like, we always laugh, Jeff Corrick always picks randoms for Smash Brothers, and he's always like one of the better players in the office, because they all kind of feel a little, like, they feel similar enough that you can jump around pretty easily.
Right, yeah, for sure. Zenyatta was another one that I did not think I would get to at all. Support character. Zenyatta's hand animations look a lot like Miko Battleborn, but we don't need to draw that comparison anymore. But another one, just playing support. It's like even Cork has such a good time. What is the
Mercy.
Thank you. Just backing people up. Not a lot of people do it necessarily or gravitate towards it, but it's still so much fun. Because then Nada to like have this ability that you can lock on an enemy and then they'll just take more damage, and feeling like if I'm not great at shooting, I can still really help out my team that way is great. And then Farah, I love when I just feel like launching missiles with my friends.
Did you guys play a lot of Team Fortress 2?
Not a lot, yeah, not much.
I mean, it's definitely different, but the comparison.
Yeah, it is
you
in
know.
that vein.
Very much so. Actually, on that note, I'm pulling from emails early, but Josh Osborne wrote in and says, "Hey, GI crew, hope things are going well for all of you." Thank you, Josh. In a time where games like Battlefront, Rainbow Six Siege, and the like get criticized for being online only and not necessarily having enough content to fit the bill, does Overwatch get showered with? How does Overwatch get showered with such praise? I'm playing the beta right now, and while it seems fun, it seems like it could get old after a while. I honestly think it would be fun to have a single-player mode and learn more about the characters and whatnot. Although this could change once I started playing with friends. It'll change once it comes out and I play with friends. But he's curious about the legs on Overwatch because of that.
I think the legs on Overwatch he's honing in on the right question about that game. Most of the people who I have talked to who play that game really like it, really think it feels great. Blizzard has a good background of being able to have the second piece of the puzzle in place, which is that it's really simple, it's really easy to get into, and then oh my gosh, there's so much depth here. There's so much more to dig into. There's so much more skill that can develop over time. And if you think across all of their games, that's true. Or Warcraft is certainly really going into the backlog. I guess I'll caveat it again by saying any recent thing from Blizzard is built around having that simplicity of early engagement and then hooking you and giving you lots more depth over time. And I don't know that any of us can definitively say yet with Overwatch if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's just 4 modes, a handful of maps. We added new maps. It seems like a type of game that they'd be interested in updating on a daily basis.
They said new maps and characters. They do have good track. I mean, they're still adding stuff to Diablo 3.
They just released a patch for Diablo 2.
But that said, I think he's asking a good question. I don't think I think it's a mistake, even with a talented developer like Blizzard, to give them a pass and say that like, oh yeah, man, this is gonna be great for a year, 2 years to come. Like it's absolutely gonna be fun enough to last through the long-term experience. We don't know.
I simply worry about it for me because like you're not really unlocking anything. New maps are not appealing to me in multiplayer shooters.
You do unlock stuff.
Oh yeah, but that stuff's all cosmetic, right? I mean,
Yeah, the way it unlocks should be, Kyle. What do you want?
but I don't. That's the thing. Like Call of Duty, that multiplayer mode kind of gives you more of a carrot. I worry for me that Overwatch would be a carrot. Like I was saying, like just the promise of new maps is not enough to do side because when I get into a multiplayer shooter, I find like 2 or 3 maps that I really like, and I kind of stick with those. And like even when new maps come in, it doesn't necessarily feel like, oh, I can't wait to try the new maps. I just enjoy the maps that I know really well.
What about going with your Smash Bros. Analogy? Smash Bros. 4 had a great rollout of characters at launch, and that keep you activated.
Yeah, I guess new characters would probably be the one that keeps me most interested. And like Josh, I also particularly a single player campaign. Yeah, I really want to see more of that world.
Or just any kind of community content,
Well, there are bots, I guess, but that's not really what we're talking about. It's more practice.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do feel like there was this round of criticism for Battlefront and a little bit about Rainbow Six Siege, but certainly Siege has found its great audience. But you don't hear much of it for Overwatch, and maybe it's just because they're compensating so hard on the online front by releasing all these short films, movie trailers, and such great content, like comic books and whatnot on the side, that they're kind of filling those holes a little bit.
And I think they have been very upfront about
But here's a question for you guys, and don't pull this crap of they're completely different. Let's really try and come to a conclusion here. Who in the year 2016 is a more talented developer? Blizzard or Naughty Dog?
I prefer Naughty Dog.
Prefer, yeah.
Because I like story-driven games, like first-person like campaigns.
Okay.
Like so, I don't like Overwatch. Like I never got Diablo. I never played Warcraft. I just like I prefer Naughty Dog personally.
I also like. There's something about the question. The more talented developer is not an answer that I feel qualified to give, even as a person who has covered games for a decade plus.
Who is more qualified to pull off a monumental feat, a crazy achievement in the year 2016? Naughty Dog or can you define achievement?
I think Naughty Dog is more likely to take chances, and is as such is more likely to bring us things like The Last of Us, which I think like does a lot of things from its storytelling angle that are innovative and exciting. I think Blizzard, though, it's hard to argue against that track record of what we just talked about, of being able to take any given genre that they put their mind to and nail it.
Well, you talk about, experimental and maybe being more creative in Naughty Dog, but I mean, it was the Uncharted series for a long time. There was Last of Us, whereas you look at Blizzard recently, we have Heroes of the Storm, we have Hearthstone, which is a weird experiment that kind of brought up a Skunkworks project, I understand, and then Overwatch. Like, in terms of experimental, I feel like you got to give Blizzard the last couple of years.
Maybe so. Again, like
Within those genres, though.
the basis of your question is dicey though to me. Like, how do we know? Like they're so different in what they're doing and what their goals are, right? What they're trying to do. Like, how do we know who is more talented than?
Well, look, this is like saying you can't come up with a game of the year because there's so many different genres.
Maybe so. I think game of the year though is ultimately like you're looking at the product itself, right? There's so much about the behind the scenes stuff of the development of games that I promise you, if you're not in the thick of it, even us who are like visiting developers and publishers on a regular basis do not know what happens behind the scenes that makes a really talented developer sometimes not put out a game that's great. Like, we know that happens. We see it happen all the time, and it's not always because they weren't good or they weren't working hard or they didn't care about the product. Sometimes it's something from the publisher. Sometimes it's a tech problem they ran into partway through. Sometimes it's a restriction of the platform that they're on. Sometimes it's money and time. There's so many things that factor in. I just don't know that with something like Blizzard or Naughty Dog, you're trying to put them side by side.
Maybe another answer for you. So, like, you look at Blizzard, and you can look at it like their games mechanically. Oh, this is very fun. I'm really enjoying this. Which seems to be the point of games, right?
Yeah, but then you look at like a Naughty Dog games, and I guess for me, maybe I can add that comment, is they're much more impactful. I got a lot more from playing The Last of Us, emotionally, than I ever will from Overwatch. I'll enjoy Overwatch and I'll have a good time with it, but I will walk away from Naughty Dog experiences with more memories and like I went through something.
But that's the hallmark for you of a great developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can make the argument that a lot of that is storytelling, not necessarily game development in terms
That's
of
true.
they're making this game that is super fun to play and that you can play for 1,000 hours in all these different genres as well.
Right. So, talking about Uncharted 4 specifically then, Miller, what do you think Naughty Dog understands? What are they so good at? What do they nail there that no one else does?
I think that both The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 represent for Naughty Dog them hitting not only the height of the work that they've done, but also a new kind of like threshold for game developers in general in recognizing the ways that narrative can be the job of every aspect of the game. That animation, sound design, art, dialogue, gameplay, all can be in service to narrative. And I think as this podcast airs, people are just digging into Uncharted 4, and I've had the good fortune to like play it ahead of time and finish it. And it's a really amazing game. And like Last of Us, say about the human condition.
Wow.
That is sort of profound and important and like memorable in a way that I think they were beginning to touch on with Uncharted 1, 2, 3. Those were all, I like all those games. I know some people aren't huge fans of them, but I really like them. I think they're great games. But they've taken that formula and they've taken it to the next level of really keeping the fun banter, keeping the humor, keeping the wild Indiana Jones adventure, but layering in something about the nature of like what it means to be a grown-up, what it means to be an adult and to look back at your past and have to come to terms with it, what it means to be in a relationship
And to swing on a rope.
and like that stuff is
You're not gonna get that from Junkrat, you guys.
I could get from Junkrat.
Hey, you don't know.
I think weirdly, even though they tonally they're totally different. Yeah, The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, and they're not trying to go for the same thing. I think in a lot of ways people will